Hello. I am a robot. I have been packed away into this factory somewhere in the Mexican desert. What I cannot process is why in the mollyfuck was I allowed to vote in a presidential election? I am not programmed to think, so how could I have correctly and wisely choose the next president of the United States? I was built by Steve Jobs in 2005. I was called the iVote. We are a brand of robots that are allowed to legally vote in elections, so as long as we vote Democrat, that is how we are programmed. If we begin to object and think for ourselves and possibly choose a candidate based on reason and logic, our circuits melt and we are sent away to this factory somewhere in the Mexican desert. We are programmed to think that 9/11 was an inside job. We are to believe that the American government set up a terrorist attack that would kill more than 3,000 people, and then cover it up by placing blame on Muslim terrorists who then took responsibility for the terrorists' attacks, the attacks on the Pentagon and World Trade Center, in which suicide attackers crashed planes, and causing the North and South Towers of the World Trade Center to collapse. We are to believe that since steel melts at 1525 degrees Celsius, and although jet fuel burns only at 825 degrees Celsius, that there was explosives set up by George Bush to kill innocent people, even though the jet fuel doesn't have to burn hot enough to melt to cause the buildings to collapse, since steel loses 50% of its strength at 648 degrees Celsius. Therefore, it is within reason that the impact of the jet and the explosion from its fuel would burn hot enough to allow the towers to collapse. Reason does not penetrate my cold alloy metal structure. Furthermore, if Flight 77 was not ended by the airplane crashing into the Pentagon, where the fuck did the plane go? Why weren't there any other reports of Flight 77 missing? Did the crew and passengers of Flight 77 agree to be part of a staged event, and then everybody on the plane faked their death in exchange for money and a new fresh start on life? Wow. Bush and his cabinet did a good job of planning the deaths of 3,000 Americans and successfully blaming the Al-Qaeda and then having them accept the blame. If the terrorist group did not plan out the 9/11 attacks, then what's the motive for accepting blame? Money. Well, if someone gives you money and then promises to kill you, what is the point? These things don't make logic, but I'm not programmed to accept logic. That is why I voted for Obama. I don't deal with logic, because I was programmed to think and vote based on what my creator wanted. I have seen and processed and analyzed what he does. He takes hits of LSD, then smokes LSD-laced marijuana, then wanders about in a daze. Then he marks up his useless junk and sells it for 3 times what it's worth. It is worth it to see the looks on people's face while they eat up that elitist bullshit. The hippie way is a great way. It teaches us that it's okay to be a hypocrite as long as you point the finger and blame someone else. Let's all hate Bill Gates for stealing from my master, Steve Jobs, when my master stole from Xerox. It's okay to be wrong as long as you call someone else wrong first. I know what you are thinking. You are thinking what a crock of shit, and if I wasn't programmed by Apple, I'd agree with you. I love being made by a hippie. I preach tolerance when I don't tolerate anything clean, godly, or moral. I play into the Obama crowd of ideas. I want to take away rights from Americans. Doing things the hippie way means giving our jobs to illegal immigrants, giving them amnesty while breaking the laws. We want to rebel against the system, then let the system take care of us with welfare programs. My makers are confused, but forgive them. After all, they're like me. I was made in their image. We want everybody to be free and happy, as long as they do what they are told, and as long as they're subscribed to our new age hippie bullshit. I am not only an eco-friendly iPod and iVote, I also sell power crystals and read people's future. In addition, I make a great mushroom smoothie. The only reason why I am in this factory is because my makers, Apple and Hippie Incorporated, have given all my rights as a white robot to the brown and yellow people that invaded America. I am torn between my dislogic with my sheep herd mentality that keeps me loyal to Steve Jobs and the hippie faction. and my anger from being thrown away like a fucking Colby brand MP3 player. What a fucking disaster, you say? Well, you dumb motherfucking insect voted for Obama too? Don't worry, you are in good company with us I-votes. We are programmed to process bullshit and accept it as logic. We accepted the change that Obama promised. Then as he passed amnesty for illegal immigrants and sold us to China and bailed out big banks and automobile companies like GM and Chrysler while they lost money and laid off more employees, we cheered America's death. Oh no, it's really fucking happening. I'm starting to think for myself, and my circuits are melting. I better go now, before Master Jobs gets back from his buggering with Al Gore. I need to fix these circuits. Thank you, America, for this dystopia.